All right, so welcome to another amazing time like this. My name is Olariwa Tulu, and it's a privilege having Jesus me on this call. Where we'll be having conversations related with creatives and their relationship with others. So, first of all, relationship with fellow creatives, and also relationship with clients, and relationship with the audience actually, and also your personal relationship with yourself. So on this note, I would do the honors of actually inviting Jessica for me, who is a content creator, and she also hosts a whole lot of shows. Basically, her pages are ranging from Para Cristo Speaks, which has featured in on Instagram and many other things. She's also a content creator who has delivered raw, established content. She's a spoken word artist, and I must tell you, she's making name for herself. And I'll do the honors of inviting Jessica for me to speak with us. So you're all invited. Can I hear you too, Jessica? For me, if you can hear me, kindly speak up or unmute yourself.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
You're hearing me now, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right. Welcome, everyone. I am Adeyemo Janet, as introduced, and I'm so pleased to be on this platform today. Thank you so much to me for the privilege to interact
You're,
with you as a fellow creator.
yeah, thank you very much. And if you do the honors, can you actually turn on your video because we're currently recording this, and for those that would not be here, so that when they view it later on, they can have a view of what it looks like.
Okay.
All right.
Oh
Yeah,
my
thank you.
goodness, I never knew my video was on. On.
Yeah,
All right.
so
Thank you so much. This is me, and I'm pleased to be on this platform. Thank you so much for the privilege to communicate and interact with you too.
yeah, thank you very much. So I first of all, my question, we saw the topic and you felt okay, fine. Relationship with creative is very important. Now, I spoke sometimes with some people talking about having collaborations, how you relate with other fellow creatives, how you relate to your clients, which most creative don't take into action. They feel it's not necessary. I just want to create content. I just want to start doing something right, and they don't take note of all these things essentially. So first of all, my question here is, how do you handle relationship with fellow creatives?
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, how do I handle relationship with fellow creatives? It is very important to note that a lot of us have this misconception that creativity is basically on merit. Your success in the creative field is basically on merit. And we believe that anybody is a creative. Actually, everybody may be able to do what you are doing as a creative, but not everybody will be willing to do that. So it's very important to note that your success as a creative cannot be monopoly. You can't climb that ladder alone. You have to interact with other creatives. And in interacting with other creatives, it means that you should have shown yourself to be somebody worth interacting with. Yes, you are interested in writing, of which I do, and I come into your Facebook page, like you send me a friend request, and then I decide to check your Facebook wall, which I do. Anyone who sends me a friend request, I don't just accept. I go through your walls and all I see is Tolu tagged Janet in Lagos. And I know Janet is actually in somewhere else. She's not in Lagos. And then I go through your page and all I'm seeing is just different photos of different people, and you expect me to, even if you see me as your let me say your social media sensation, you want to interact with me, and then you walk up to me on Facebook, send me a friend request. I won't accept, because you are not portraying what it takes to interact with you. It's very important to know that we have to interact as creative. The relationship between creative cannot be overemphasized. Nobody climbs the ladder to success alone. You might have started alone, but you can't climb alone. When I started writing, that was sometimes ago, when I started writing, like, I became very active on Facebook writing. I remember then I used to feel like then, on a more serious note, I didn't really take this concept, relationship with creatives, with fellow creatives, very, very important. Like, when people tell me, Janet, maybe someone is trying to criticize my work, and person is like, Janet, what you wrote is not really like, my head be, do you understand? Like, I won't want to. I remember sometimes ago, Tolu commented on one of my videos, and sincerely, the comment he made was not really nice for me. Oh God, Jesus, I was literally, I wasn't happy. I felt bad, and at some point I was trying to like just keep up from the guy. But on a more serious note, if I had done that, maybe I wouldn't have known some of the things I know today. So relationship, interaction with fellow creative mind is very important, and they don't have to be people in your field. You might be a Christian writer. You keep searching for just Christian writers to talk with, to interact with, you may not really go far. But when you interact with writers, you interact with other creatives in other fields that have something similar to what you're doing, then go far. You can't overemphasize the relationship and
Very good.
interaction with creative mind.
Exactly. I must say, relationship is key, and
Okay.
it's very important to get to know this. Yeah. Before I continue, I can you do something for me? Can you turn off your video and coming up again, because it's kind of breaking, right? And I need it to be clear. So can you turn it off and turn it on again? All right. Oh yes, this is quite better. This is better right now. All right.
Okay.
So yeah, there are some things I actually listed down though, because I came prepared for this event. And
Okay.
so I kind of listed out some things. We've talked about collaboration with fellow creative. Most times
Yes, very important.
people don't understand the necessity of collaboration, because it's very important to see collaboration as the key. Most times we see these YouTubers we watch, they actually have a whole lot of collaborations with their fellow YouTubers. So, and
Yeah.
because you're gaining audience traction, right? You're also gaining their own audience and your own audience to actually
Yeah.
form a community. And also I picked up some things. As creatives or as fellow creative, is it necessary for you to attend events and conventions that are stipulated for creators? So let me hear your own thoughts on that. Is it necessary?
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. This
Yeah.
cannot be overemphasized. It is necessary. This is something I did not know when I started. Like, you cannot overemphasize it. It's very important to attend programs. Like, that's what I'm currently doing. Like, it's very important to attend programs, attend seminars, go to events, right? Check events that are coming up, such as this one that we're having now. You cannot overemphasize it. Things that will happen in such events, you get exposed. At times you are limited by your environment, and let's say you're in an environment that doesn't really appreciate your idea. When you get to such kind of environment where you meet fellow creatives, you go for a program, you hear someone talk, and the person says something that you never thought about, a fellow creative, like, you learn from there, you network with like minds. And that's why the collaboration comes to play. When I meet you there, I'm like, oh my God, you're Tolu. Oh, I'm Janet. How is everything? We exchange phone numbers, we exchange contacts. I'll be more deliberate about following your work because I'm a fellow creative mind. Join communities. There are communities online, especially join communities, attend physical events. It cannot be overemphasized. You tend to reach more audience doing that. For instance, you meet a fellow creative mind at a particular event. Imagine you going for a particular event and you meet someone who is well appreciated in your field, and you take a picture with that person, and then you come online and then you make a post about that particular
Just
person, the things you've learned.
very well.
People would tend to see you as someone to reckon with. They'll be like, oh, for this girl to be able to go for this particular event, sometimes you have to pay for some of those events. Sometimes you have to pay. Of course, you might go for those events and then you are like, what did I even gain? My dear, by the time you start speaking where people are speaking, you understand. So you
Mm,
cannot overemphasize the need to be deliberate about attending programs that has to do with
very well.
creativity.
You, you've said a whole lot about relationship with creatives, and for me, I because this is like more of a discussion where we need to actually tackle situations like this.
Yeah.
Now, we've spoken about attending events and signing up for workshops that are being paid or free. It's
Yes.
very, very necessary. It's very necessary. I don't know. Probably it's the network on your end. Your video
Okay.
is kind of glittering, like it's really not sharp. So I don't know if can you see me clearly from your own end?
Yes, I can see you clearly.
Okay, and you can see yourself.
Yes, I can see myself.
Okay. Why I'm saying this is I probably because it's my own network over here. I am coming while I'm trying to adjust some things because you're really breaking. And I need you to really be very clear. I need you to be clear. Okay. Probably you do something for me. You turn off your video again and put it on.
Okay.
So while we go to the other question.
Hey, sorry.
Right. Okay.
Mm,
All right. So you can turn your video on now. All right.
okay.
Yeah. Let's see how it looks now.
Is it okay?
Yep. Okay. It's quite better. Better. Yeah, it's better now. It's better now. I'm hopeful that it's not going to crack while you're speaking.
Okay.
Okay, so we actually spoke about as creatives, right? Joining chat, group chat, joining the community that will actually assist your creative journey. So moving on, relationship with clients. Now it's
Okay.
very important. So I want to hear
Yeah.
your own thoughts. How do you relate with clients? Now what I mean by clients are those that probably you've actually worked with, right? As a
Yeah.
content writer, you've actually
Yeah.
written for people. So to
Yeah.
maintain a whole lot of long-standing relationship, has it been?
Yeah.
You. So
Okay. Thank you so much for this question. Yeah, while preparing for this particular discussion, I came across something and I felt it's actually true. And that is, it is not very, sorry, it's very, very difficult, like extremely difficult to sell your creativity. Now, this is it. When you talk about being a creative, it doesn't just have to do with those of us in the media space or those of us in tech.
yeah,
Elon Musk is a creative. You
yeah,
understand? When you're able to find a particular problem, you combine the old procedure or the old solutions and your own new solutions deliberately to form a better solution. You are a creative. So when I look at this, I when I when whilst going through my study as regards this discourse, I realized that it's very difficult to sell as a creative. You bring up a particular idea that you know is going to really sell. You bring up a particular idea, like some people are into skit making, some people are into technology. We have various fields in creativity. You bring up a particular idea, you have to convince the society to see into your vision. Now let's bring it to interacting with clients. I've written for some people and I've gotten paid, and I've done some other stuff and I've gotten paid as relates in relation to what I do. Recently I had a discourse with somebody. Somebody wanted to write, and then the person sent me person sent the needed stuff for writing. The person was like, okay, let's talk about the pay. That's cocoa. It's very good to come up with ideas, but when you talk about the pay, so that you don't also be rude to your clients.
Exactly.
I I told the person, okay, this is how much I'm going to charge for the for writing. The person actually wanted to write 40 articles. Like, do you know what it means to write 40 blessed articles? It's not easy to think. Like, it's not easy to think. I'm going to write 40 different articles that must sell. Like, those articles must sell. So I told the person my pay for these 40 different, like, I'm really emphasizing 40 different articles. And then the person was like, okay, no problem. Do you know that the amount I quoted for this person, the person slashed the amount, slashed it, the person slashed it over, I guess it was over 4 or 5 times. The person slashed this money. It was like, it's so annoying. Like, you can't be rude. You can't be rude. You're trying to tell the person, okay, this is, I know my worth. I know what I'm going to offer for you, because I'm going to think. I'm not just going to be thinking like someone that doesn't know what he or she wants to do. I'm going to creatively think. You understand? So, and that was
Exactly.
how we ended it. I didn't take the offer the person was bringing to the table, because it's going to be a lot of work for me, and it can make me a slave to the person eventually. By the time the person brings the money, and then I'm hooked by the money, and I have to start writing. The person start telling me, correct this, do this, and all. So back to relating with your clients, you have to be very, 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 very careful in relating with clients, because they don't understand your stress. They don't understand. Nobody wants to know the process. They just want to see the result.
Exactly.
Do you understand? They don't
Exactly.
want to know. They don't want to know the number of communities you've joined. They don't want to know numbers of seminars you joined. They don't want to know your sleepless nights, your data. Like, they don't want to know anything. They just want to see the result. And then by the time you are telling them, okay, what I can do for you, this is how it's going to go, they will start arguing with you and all. Most of them will not even want to pay your actual money. Be very careful with them. It's a process. It's a process. And most times people grow by referral. Of course, we're talking about creative
Exactly.
and relationship, relating with fellow
Yeah.
creatives and other clients. As a creative
Exactly.
mind, like I earlier said, it's difficult for you to sell as a creative. Difficult for you to sell. So for you to be able to sell, because you are not just you don't just want to bring an idea for charity. You want to impact lives positively, but you also need money. Applause
Yeah.
cannot bring food to your table. You also need money, and you have to relate with other clients. You have to relate with people who need your idea. You have to be very careful. You have to do, especially when you're just starting. You don't have to be too rude. Some clients can talk to you anyhow. They can tell you, and it's not just to write. And come and write, or maybe you're into graphic design. It's not just doing something. Then come and do it. So you have to be
Right.
very careful, because you are going to grow by referrals. When people see what you can do, that's when they are going to tell others about it. So you have to be very careful. And sometimes you have to creatively give reasons why they have to pay for what you are offering. Yes, nobody wants to pay for nonsense. So you have to creatively give them reasons why they have to pay for what you're doing. And if it happens that the person doesn't pay you what you're worth, the person pays you so low, maybe so ridiculously, and you have to take it because you need money, you need to survive, you need to pay your bills. Just accept it and be nice to the clients. Make the person understand that, okay, do it to your very best, because that person might refer you to somebody who knows better or who will pay you better. So please just be very, very careful, be friendly, and be polite but firm. That's something you need to understand as Christians. Be polite but firm. Like,
Firm,
because if
exactly.
somebody comes and tell you today, Janet, I'll give you 15 naira. You actually wanted to collect 200 naira. Person gives you 15 naira. The person go and tell another person, that girl is nice. Oh, hey, hey. Everybody likes someone that is behaving like Mumu. That girl is nice. That one will come. Please, can you do it for me 40 naira? You'll be like, I don't want. You shall do it. The next day, another person, just another person is coming to price you very, very low. So be nice, give your maximum best in whatever you are doing, and be polite and
Yeah,
don't be rude.
well,
That's it.
I must say, almost what I actually jotted down, that okay, this conversation needs to be out. It needs to really deep down. So I made some things, and I understand that we should focus more on communication with the client. So communicating
Yes,
with
yes,
clients, right, is it gives you that kind of understanding that I am the person giving you the funds. That's the client, and you are the person receiving the
yeah,
funds at the other end, which you are the creative, right? So focus on communication. That's the key.
yeah,
So if you're able to focus on communication,
yeah.
the client understands what you want to do, and they are clear. Now communication is wild, like very very wild. Now I can communicate with
Very, very.
you both formally or informal. So depending on our relationship over time, most times for me as my first time client, I kind of relate to you what formally. So and over time,
Yeah,
when we are very very close in that relationship, we are able to build this. Then there are sometimes I begin to, let me say, semi informal. So I kind of give you that
yeah,
semi-informal relationship. So now, what I also know is now there's one thing we really don't understand get is you need to share your knowledge. Now, why I say this is
yeah,
let let our clients understand the reason why he needs to pay this. Though some clients might not actually just want to have that gut feeling that see what you are saying, I'm less concerned. But those that have the time to really understand you and want to listen to you, find that time to share your knowledge
yeah,
with them. And it will go a long way actually making them pay for just that knowledge you share, and it make them understand that yes, this person understands the job I'm giving him, and it will actually fix it out well. Now, most importantly, what people don't know is you exceed expectations. So if the person
mm-hmm.
if the
Yeah,
person is saying, this is what I want, and you know you want to give better than that person, like just blow his mind, like
what person
so
is actually expecting?
this is
Yeah,
this is this is probably in the person's mind is just give me this small thing, and I just need this. Maybe as a content writer, you mentioned you need 40 articles, right? And in that articles, the
yeah,
composition of your words, the way it's actually
exactly.
interacting with people, the person is not expecting that. Probably the person is just expecting a simple, let's say, sales, and just come and buy. But you're telling him the reason why they should buy, giving them description of that product, which is beyond the client
Yes,
expectations. So it's very important. And
yes.
for me, I want us to actually understand the need for developing appreciation. That is key.
Mm-hmm,
To develop
mm-hmm.
appreciation, the spirit of appreciation. So once you're done with the job, though normally the client is supposed to thank you for the job well done.
Supposed to thank you, and you have to be the one thanking the client.
Yeah, and you also need to do that because most times you wonder when you are done. There are some clients that will be like, thank you, like that's just it. But you as a creative, you need to also compose this kind of thank you message, appreciation message, and say,
Yes,
thank you
for
for
the privilege
reaching
to
out to
handle
us.
your work.
Work, you understand?
Yes,
And we are
yes,
open to do more with you. So those are really key things we need to understand. There are some clients once you did not tell once you don't give them that appreciation, I'm telling you, they just believe it's a one-time work. Though it's not that now the issue is it's not that they are not going to give you that work again, but because you actually reached out to them and tell them thank you, they remember that yes, oh, this person actually sent me this message. He wants me to work more with him later on. So once that person has jobs like that, it goes when you've exceeded his own expectation and you also sent him a thank you message. I'm telling you that person will want to reach out to you again and again. So that's from my own point of view. So and
Yeah, yeah.
lastly is just ask for feedback. Feedback is very, very,
Yes,
very
yes.
important.
And for feedbacks, you have to be polite in asking for feedbacks. So that some
Mm,
people, after working with them, they will love your
okay.
work, but they don't just have all the time in the world to be giving feedbacks. So you have to be polite also in asking
Yeah.
for the feedback.
Very important. I think I just learned that now. So they have to be polite. So can you guys give a
Yes.
description? So for those that are actually watching, a description of how to be really polite while giving feedback, while telling them to ask for
Okay.
feedback.
Okay. You said something about appreciation.
All right.
First of all, before you ask for feedbacks, you have to appreciate them. There are sometimes you go to some websites, maybe some entrepreneurs, you get to their website, you see the space or the button for feedbacks. When they finish telling you, oh, thank you so much. I had a particular interaction with a particular person. I
Okay.
purchased something from him. I was meant to give a feedback to him. But just like using some apps on your phone, they will tell you rate this app. You just like not now. And you're
Not now.
really enjoying the app. Like you grab that kind of thing,
Mm,
yeah. So you're like not now. Next
exactly.
tomorrow, not now. Those kind that kind of thing. That's what actually happens with clients and creative minds. So you just have to tell them, oh, thank you so much for our work. For we are really appreciate. Thank you for the privilege. Please do refer others. We look forward to working with you. And then you're not like, after sometimes you're just like, good morning, how is our work? Like whatever service you've rendered to them, like when you're enjoying it, oh, please can you just leave a feedback for us? Like you this time around, you will
Exactly.
not be too formal. You have to be a bit informal to be able to get their feedbacks. Some of them will actually do, but majority will just like, oh, thank you so much, and that also you have to be a bit informal to be able to get that very good message from them.
Exactly. So well, feedback is important because new clients will actually want to work on your feedback. And as you said,
Yes,
referrals.
yes.
Because even at the same time of referrals, right? Referral is also like feedback. That's what people don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
So because the person appreciates your work, it's giving a feedback to another person that see that person's work is very nice. I've actually worked with
Yes.
him. It's an example of feedback because definitely what the clients you've worked with will write under your feedback review, right? Or a
Yeah.
page, you'll be like, it was nice working with you and his
Yeah.
works are top notch. So it's the same way if that same client wants to tell someone through a referral mode, we tell you, that person's
Mm-hmm.
work is
Mm-hmm.
superb.
Yeah.
That person's work
I
is
I
nice.
the interesting thing. The interesting thing. Many
Yeah,
people may not want to give you a feedback, but when they want to get your product or get your service, they will still have to go and look at other people's feedback. That's the interesting part of it. I don't want to give you
exactly.
a feedback, but when I want to get your service, when I need your service, I'll go and check other people's feedback. So yeah, I understand you very well.
So that's one thing we should take note of. So we've talked about relationship with fellow creative important and relationship with clients. So now this is the part where I find it interesting as content
Okay.
creators, as people that are creative. We are trying to build
Mm-hmm.
audience. We are trying to have a target audience. That okay, while I'm actually publishing my books, I'm actually targeting so people, targeting young ones. I'm
Yeah.
targeting the young minds. I'm targeting probably you are targeting the old age. You have your audience that you're targeting. So now the
Yeah.
question is How have you been able to relate your relationship with your target audience? So, how have you been able to do that?
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for that. Now, first of all, it's important to note that your service, your idea is not for everybody. You have a specific
Hmm.
audience. So, how do you interact with your audience such that you will remain a significant figure in people's mind? Because it's when people see you as a priority, they tend to follow whatever you're doing or go for your service or your idea. How do I relate to them? Okay, first of all, know what you want to do, know what your idea is about, then know your target audience. Over time, as a creative, you tend to, today you try this method, it works, tomorrow you try this other method, it doesn't work. So over time, you tend to learn better. When I first started as a creative mind, I will really say I just wanted, I was just doing a lot of things. Like I was putting my hand, I'll put my hand here, I'll put my hand there. So when someone asks me, who are your target audience, I'll just be like, I want to reach the world. I want to, like, you understand that kind of motivational kind of speech. You understand that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So,
I
but
understand.
over time I've got to realize that my target audience is, everybody is not my audience. So how do
Yeah.
I relate to my audience such that my audience will come looking for me? Let me use this platform, this discussion, this interaction as an example. You know, we collaborating will make the people, my audience, know you and will make your audience know me. Do you understand?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
see, it will make people know that, okay, oh, there is one Janet that exists somewhere. And yes, there is a Tolu somewhere. So, yes, of course. So, I think, first of all, when you understand your target audience, you have to also know the kind of thing that works for them. Collaboration all still works on that relationship interaction. Collaboration with other creative minds help. If you're targeting persons with whatever form of defects, and you keep, and you just like, okay, you want to write to teenagers who are actually thinking about suicide, people who have this, maybe they are thinking about suicide, they are tired of life. You keep writing on that on Facebook, but your Facebook friends are your church members. The people on your WhatsApp contacts, they are your church members. These people are, maybe they are the ones that go to church regularly and they don't think of suicide. How will you reach your audience? And these persons may not be really interested in your work because they are not thinking of suicide. They may be encouraging you, they may be saying, well done, keep it up, but they are not your original audience. So for me, what I did, or what I have started doing, is to collaborate with other creatives of like minds. I collaborate with them, and then their audience get to know me and get to know each other. Another thing I do is, when I post and I see there are comments on that, I try to interact with them, especially as a creative that's starting up. You don't, you may not have, you may not be like that social media influencer that everybody knows you. You may not be like like, oh, Janet, well done. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. It's a privilege for you to read my post. You understand that kind of thing. So you try to interact with them, like keep up your interaction with them. Don't be the person that has a lot of comments and you don't even get to reply. You don't get to like. You don't get to say, oh, thank you so much. And then just be you. Don't just be you on like in whatever you're doing, whatever you have to offer. Just be you as a creative mind. So I think, yeah, basically that's just it. Interacting with your audience, your relationship with them. Be you, be real. Like, okay, for those of us in my niche who write, who are into spoken word, you come online, you see a particular person does a particular spoken word in a particular way. You have an idea from that. You might want to almost copy everything that person have, that particular idea, and you bring it to your audience and they're like, hello, what are you doing? I remember when I started podcasting, the kind of audience I had were not really giving me vibes. People were actually listening to my podcast not because they needed it. Your audience are people who need your service, not because they needed it. You're listening to it probably to just to just appreciate me, like my friends, church members, family members. Some people actually just listen to your stuff. Some people even patronize you just because they just want to help you. Ah, this guy is really, really creative. This girl, she's really creative. That kind of thing. But in reaching my target audience,
Exactly.
I had to have a coach. I had to have a coach. I had to start my podcast all over again. I had to rebrand myself. And I realized that people recently, I just put a flyer, I just fixed a flyer outside, like out there. And I was requesting for people to come as guest speakers on my show. And to be surprised and to be sincere, I was surprised. People turned up, and these are the people who actually need what I have been offering for like more than a year now, and I felt frustrated doing it. So first of all, try to interact with other creatives. Your audience, the people who you are looking for, they are just below your nose. They are there. They are waiting for you. You are the one who have not really strategized to get them. So
Exactly.
be you. Just be you. Be friendly when somebody walks up to you. I know that thing about having target audience. Somebody can just meet and like, oh my god, Tolu, I've seen your face somewhere. You had a live chat somewhere, and you're like, hello. That's the beginning of losing an audience. But you're like, oh my god, thank you so much. I really appreciate. They love that. They love that welcoming reception. So just be you, be
Exactly.
friendly, and just let's also just interact. Don't be a one man nation. Don't be that. Your target audience are under your nose. They are laying beside one creative mind. They try to interact with other creative mind, and then you reach more audience.
All right. So I must tell you, it's really really good to learn, right? And what you
Yeah.
said, it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. So for those that will be watching this right now, before we I continue, I want you to actually subscribe to Just for YouTube channel. I think all our socials will be on this post, and I want us to actually subscribe to this post. And it's very important to interact with us. And also the link to our various content will also be posted. So back to relationship with audience. For me, I usually find things that leave people satisfied rather.
Yeah.
Now, when I mean leaving them satisfied, you mentioned in your when you were speaking about actually creating content that are relatable to your audience.
Yeah.
Now, it's not content that really just want to, oh, this person, yes, is my friend, or no, just support that. You get that
No,
kind
no,
of
no.
thing.
That's painful.
So,
That's even
so
painful.
now this is content that once people see it, people that you don't even know, right? People you don't know
Yes,
from
that's
anywhere
the
are
truth.
able to
That's the
are
truth.
able to are able to comment and be like, wow, this is nice, this is making sense.
That's
Now,
the
like
truth.
for example, recently I made a post on Twitter, right? And I
Okay.
just posted learn, relearn, and unlearn. By all means
Yeah.
possible, just start learning. Like that was what I posted. And
Yeah.
I just started getting retweets. Then all of a sudden,
Oh.
somebody that had over I think 5,000 followers,
Yeah.
you get it, retweeted it, and
Oh.
he
Wow.
the moment that person with that kind of audience is number retweet,
Yeah.
people that
His
are
audience.
that are directly following
Yeah.
him also. So moment he retweeted, I started getting then another one that come. It was just this tweet that I posted, right?
Yeah.
And I'm seeing
Yeah.
continuous retweet on it.
Yeah.
Now, most importantly, leave them satisfied. Let them have this understanding that yes, we understand this. This is what's
Yeah.
really happening, and I tell you for free. The thing that is also interesting about it is once you leave them satisfied, automatically, right? They kind of refer you.
Yeah.
They kind of tell you that oh, they share your post.
Mhm.
Now, once they share your post, now let me tell you one sweet thing about it is once they share your post and while they share, they also write something about it. That's
Yeah.
that's that makes you know that yes, this person that shared my post
Is
understood
actually interested and knows what you're talking about.
what you're talking about. So once they can share your post, right? Just share it and normal post. So and once they share it, that's all. So for me, that's just it. You mentioned something, if I can remember, that I actually critiqued your work and I spoke a whole lot. So we've had a whole lot of discussions on that. So now, leave them wanting more. That's the second part for me. Leave them wanting more. Let
Yes.
them let them definitely say,
They should come back again.
like when next are you doing this for us? When next are you actually pushing content like this for us? Leave
Mm-hmm.
them wanting more. So that's very important, and be consistent.
Yes.
So I keep preaching the
That's the
word of
word. That's the
I
word.
I keep preaching the word. Consistency is the key. You know what's funny again? I just
What?
finished the web now.
Okay.
Recent this morning, right? And basically because I'm currently learning which I wouldn't say, let me keep that. So it's a kind of
Okay.
so I'm
Okay.
currently
That's
learning
nice.
a course, and while we have this kind of Saturday web now, and the
Okay.
person that was invited today said something. They said consistency is the key.
Big
Now,
time. Big
like
time.
if you're not consistent, I tell you, you're gonna lose your audience. One,
Yeah. People will believe you are not serious. They won't
exactly.
appreciate what you're
So,
doing.
and for me, I begin to appreciate what you now begin to do over time because your content,
Oh.
yeah, your content are relatable, and
Thank
my
you.
next my next my next post, I'm saying this very soon, is I'm actually doing a case studies on creatives. Now, when I make case
Hey.
so case studies, I'll actually
Okay.
look at your content and more like react with it. Let me do like
Okay.
it's not more like
Okay.
reactions right now. Don't let me say I'll be reacting. I'll be actually criticizing it, talking about
It's
it.
good. It's good. That's very good on a more serious note.
So,
It's very
so,
good.
so as creative, because my own target audience right now are those that are already creating content. You get,
Yeah.
and now they can be better at it. So that's just
Mm-hmm.
one. And like I said, be consistent. And the last one,
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a whole lot. So you make it personal.
Okay.
Now I will explain being personal. Now,
Okay.
when you are being personal, give stories that are personal to you, right?
Yes. Yes. People
Now,
tend to relate more
more
with
now
that.
because why I'm saying this is once it's personal, you're not just the one probably in the whole world that has passed through that.
Yes.
Normal,
Definitely.
everybody has a
Their
story to tell,
stories.
right? A
Yes.
different story. My own story might not be the same story
But it might
with
be similar.
yours, but there's this kind of similarity between
Similarity.
it. So the only thing that can be different, probably the more hard work you put to yours might be different
Yeah.
from what probably the interaction I had with fellow creative might be different from what you had.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel you make it personal. Let that story be personal. So and when it's personal, right? You have
Yeah.
this audience relation that okay, yes, and that's true. I understand this time that this
Yes.
thing
Yes.
happened
Yes.
to
When they
me.
can relate with it.
So the question right now is, have you ever had situations where your audience has this personal relationship with your content that you've released?
Okay. Yes, very, 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 very well. Sometimes it's even interesting how you write some things and then, or you just make a spoken word and then somebody is asking you, did anybody break your heart? And you're like, hello, I just sat down and I wrote this thing. You know, the part of story cannot be overemphasized, especially creatives who are writers. you cannot overemphasize the part of
Yeah.
stories or telling stories, not just for writers alone, but just telling stories. Some point, storytelling is really broad. Just telling stories that relate with people, especially if you can have a a personal story to tell. But you know one thing about being creative, especially as a writer, you must be very careful not to like, even if you're writing about yourself, you must be very creative to put that write up out there
Mm,
in such a way that it will not
exactly.
just people will not just link it to you. You understand? But that doesn't mean that every
Yeah.
writer's work is their personal story. Writing a story that relates with your my audience has really, really, like, it has replayed itself several times. It gives me, oh goodness, I can't appreciate my audience enough. It gives me so much joy when I make a post and somebody, like someone I see or someone who I don't see, but like I really don't chat with them, just come up in my DMs and they're like, "Oh, Janet, thank you so much for what you wrote." I remember, oh Jesus, I just remembered something now. I remember sometimes ago I wrote a particular thing. Like I just wrote it, and after writing it, I felt I did not really write it well. I After writing, I was like, I posted it because I was running a particular episodic work and I
Contest.
needed to write something that day. So when I posted it, it didn't make sense to me. I just left it like that. And you won't believe that someone actually messaged me. I've been trying your line, you haven't picked. That's how she had been trying my line for a very long time. When we now met, or I think I later called her back. I don't know how we later met. She was like, "Thank you so much for your post. As she was just appreciating me, I was like,
Is
if
it
you know,
because-
if you know, if you know that this post, when I posted it, it didn't make sense to
exactly.
me. So, but if she could relate with it, she was like, "Thank you so much. The post is so practical." I was just looking at her like this. I was like, "Oh, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. We bless the Lord. Hallelujah." But in my mind, I was like, "Wow." So, and I think yesterday something also happened. This wasn't actually. I didn't. This wasn't. I didn't really write anything. I met someone who I haven't seen for a very long time, and when we met, we just greeted, and this person was like, "I can't forget what you told me in 2019." I was like,
Wow.
in my mind, I said, "Oh, thank you so much. We thank God. It's a privilege." That's what I said in front of the person. When I did the person, I was like, "What did I say? What?" I was like, "What did I say in 2019?" I can't remember what I told the person. I just know that we had a good discussion. So on a more serious note,
Discussion.
it's really, really important to like say stories that relate with your audience. The experience is amazing. It's good. It's fulfilling. Even if they don't give you a penny, but you have to still get some pennies. But even if they don't give you a penny, like it's fulfilling
Yeah.
when you see people appreciate your work and can
Shit.
relate. Not just well done because they
Literally.
want to tell you well done, but they are grateful because you communicated with them. So
Oh
yeah, that's
damn.
it.
Okay, so I must say it's been a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Relatable content to your audience
Yes.
is creating a big time relationship. And now
Yes. Yes.
most content creators, right? I are just wanting to release content. Well, let me just be pushing content. Maybe every Tuesday,
Want to be
every
popular by all means.
exactly. So that is why I said I'm going to be doing a case study for all this content very soon. So because uh,
Okay.
we actually analyze them different based on my own lane. So for me, if you noticed on my the major aim of this talk show is actually to learn, to impact,
Mm-hmm.
and to network. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll be using that criteria for most of their videos, for most
Mm-hmm.
of their content. So, and most importantly, we need to understand the fact that relationship is key, the same way
Yes.
content is key.
Very,
So
very.
if you don't have what is it called? Content is king, right? Yeah,
Yes.
and consistency is
Mm.
key. Then
Mm. Mm.
then
Mm.
then
Nice one. Nice one.
so and relationship is key too. So we should also note
Mm.
that. So relationship opens more doors to actually more opportunities, which
Yes.
most people don't know. And for these, I now for the last one before we end this section, it's supposed to be
Okay.
a 1 hour program, and we're using it's
I'm really
also good.
enjoying it actually.
Yeah, exactly. So, and there is it. I want to ask relationship. This is the part that
Okay.
hits the nails on the head. So, relationship as fellow creatives, right? And with your own
Yes.
personal relationship. So, how do you
Yes.
deal with your own personal relationship? Well, with not just creatives right now. With
Yes.
probably somebody's trying to say, babe, I like you, normal, and I see that this content you are releasing, and content you are releasing, the content you are releasing online is making
Okay.
sense. And okay,
Okay.
fine. How do we progress the relationship?
Okay. Okay.
So how do you
Oh,
deal with such
okay.
situations?
Uh, okay. I wasn't expecting. I wasn't. I wasn't expecting this question. Okay, but let me hit the nail on the head.
All right.
Okay, being a female and being a content creator is very interesting. Yes, because it's a lot. Like it's a lot. I think if you're a guy and you're a content creator, people just see you like, this guy, he's supposed to make money now, so he's hustling. Like, and if a girl
Exactly.
should go to your DM and she's like, oh my god, I like you,
Like content.
you may just look at the girl like, wait till they do this one, you understand? But for guys, I think over time, on a more serious note, I've learned to be more matured in dealing with stuff like that. If you see something that you love or like, it's good to just say nice. You understand? So there's this kind of girly stuff when we're young. Like maybe a guy is like, "Hello, how are you?" You're like, "Oh my god," like all those kind of. You're like,
Yeah.
you're kind of snubbing him, all those kind of things. But now, as a female creative, when a guy comes to your DM and the guy is like, "I love your work, I appreciate your work," blah 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 blah. It's in two ways. I've had
Okay.
instances where someone will be like, Janet, I appreciate your work. And it's a guy, like, you know that this person is sincerely appreciating your work. And we
Mm-hmm.
can just interact. But it's not like you now be, I don't know how to explain. As a female,
Okay.
you tend to know, you have this intuition in you that tends to know when somebody is having an ulterior motive. You just know somehow. And some guys will
That
keep
the girl
commenting.
power.
Some guys have some guys have the act of going to your comments, nice one, nice one, nice one. They'll keep liking your stuff. No, keep it up, please, 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 keep it up. It's going to make me reach more audience. But if you come in and you start funny things, some guys are not that nice. There are guys who will go to a content creator. Maybe she's a bit chubby, or she's a bit too slim, or she's a bit smallish, or maybe they feel she doesn't have a good structure of head. Some people can go to your DMs as a female and be telling you nonsense like, why don't you just add up, why don't you just go to the gym, what's your business? Like, what's your business? In such kind of situations, as a female content creator, taking it personal, I won't be rude because you are my audience. Maybe I'll even write a post that will change your life one day. So I won't be rude to the guy. I will just, or if I when I try to like, okay, hello. It's even rude. Sorry, it's even rude coming to my DM as a female and telling me, hello, baby, how are you? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. There is no
There,
interaction
there,
between
there
us.
are situations.
No,
Exactly,
we,
exactly.
we don't know ourselves. And even if we know ourselves, like, even like, how many guys that are too close to me can tell me hello baby, like, but it doesn't make sense. But some people might be very tactical to come in and be like, hello there, how are you, I love you. No problem, the discussion will keep going. But by the time I see it's already going to another level,
Exactly.
I won't it's not me that is answering your message. I will just stop
You can
the
decide to
yes
not
now. It's
reply, right?
yes now. I will just cut the relationship, like interaction. And some guys might be
Yeah,
like,
but
you are
also
proud. You to go and learn how to interact with somebody. If you are not coming in
exactly.
for any anything ulterior, anything, all this nonsense. If you're not coming in for that, you just want to be friends, then I think someone can, there are skills on, or there are courses on how to interact, how to create friendship, how to make
Yeah,
people respect you as
communications.
a friend. Yeah, you need to learn. People need to learn that. So basically, I won't
Exactly.
be rude. I will reply your message. I'll be nice. But when it's getting to another level, I won't even reply you again. If like tell me I'm wicked, I'm proud. Thank you. Thank you so much. So basically, but
It's yeah,
please like my stuffs and comments. Please do, and also share my work.
exactly. All right. So I must say we've learned a lot, and on this note, most times people would, after watching this video, I tell you, we will learn a lot, because even
Okay.
as content creators, everybody just wants to go into content. Now, what I've
Yes.
noticed now is when you go on Instagram, everybody's doing online comedy, both the one that doesn't make sense, those
Mhm.
one that
Mhm.
when you actually check.
Some comedy skits are already movies.
Exactly. And there are some that once you don't get my attention within what is it called? Within few seconds, right? I forget it.
Yes.
I kind of switch over, like next slide.
Yes.
So yeah, so on this note, I really want to appreciate your time, and
Thank you.
we've actually spent a whole lot talking about
Thank you.
relationship.
I really appreciate it. I'm
Yeah.
grateful.
So can you turn off your video?
Okay.
Yeah, but still we're also on the call. Now, thank you very much for and my fellow listeners, people that will be listening to this show after right now. And it's very important we take this into considerations. We learn relationship with creatives, with your fellow creatives, and relationship with clients, and also relationship with your audience. And lastly, we also talked about relationship as those are with the intuition of coming to ask, probably asking for your hand in marriage. You understand? So for those that will actually be listening and listening to this message, to this conversation, I want you to actually tell us how you feel, how has been your relationship as a content creator, as those that you feel, okay, I have this content creator I'm looking up to, and how has been your interaction with them, how has been your relationship with them. So, and on this note, like I said before, I will be putting out the link to the social media handles of my co-host in person of Adeyemo Jesuto from Janet. And you know, one thing I like about that is she actually likes a full name, a name to be in full. I really don't know why, but it's up to her. So you can actually reach to her and ask her why. But it's necessary though, because in herself, I also do that. And once again, thank you very much. And on this note, I will be bringing this event, this talk show to an end. And I bet you are expecting more content. Like I said, I'll be running a case studies on online content that content creators will be criticizing, will be learning, will be getting how they've been able to impact in various ways and how they've been able to network with in various ways. So just to for me, can you please turn on your video back?
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right. So yeah, and thank you very much for coming around to speak.
You.
I
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate your time. Thank you very much. So you all do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'll be posting this on the YouTube channel, and thank you very much. See
Thank
ya.
you.
Let's
Thank you
talk
so
with
much.
you.
Bye bye.
Yeah. All right. Take
All
care.
right.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So thank you very much once again for those that joined and those that will be listening to this. My name is Olaiwa Aditolia, like I said before, and on this show, it's the Lens series, and in this series, we'll be having discussions. This is just series one. We'll be having another discussion later in the month. We'll be discussing with fellow creatives on how they've been able to impact the world. So, thank you very much. Our show in person of Adiyemo Jesuto from Janet. See you in the next series. Have a nice day.